them and answer them if, with the time that we have. So before we get started, we're going to be talking about cyberbullying on different media applications. So before we get started, we're just going to watch a clip.
One disease, millions of lives permanently disrupted. But Alzheimer's disease is taking more than memories, it's taking lives. What few realize is that Alzheimer's kills more people than breast cancer and prostate cancer combined. Everyone is at risk, even you. And everyone can help, especially you. We're the Alzheimer's Association, the brains behind saving yours. Join us.
Police in southern Minnesota are investigating the death of a 13-year-old girl. Rachel Enke, a 7th grader at Cassie Middle School, committed suicide more than a week ago. Her parents say she was the victim of bullying. Here's Carol Evans' voice.
Teen suicide is often a taboo topic, but it's out in the open in shades of purple all over the adjoining communities of Cassie and Mantorville. On Friday, 1,500 people attended the funeral of Rachel Enke, a Cass and Mantorville 7th grader who took her own life after being bullied. Rachel's parents became aware of the bullying last fall when their daughter's gym locker and textbooks were defaced with chewing gum and vicious words. Her father says Rachel and a friend were cornered in the locker room by a clique of girls and threatened.
She tried to deal with it. We thought she was dealing with it. And the school thought she was dealing with it.
Rick Emke believes his daughter made an easy target for bullying because her loving nature made it difficult for her to fight back. The day before Rachel's death, the school notified her parents of another incident.
I saw the message come out.
Chris Flannery says his daughter was among several middle school students who received an anonymous text.
It was pretty explicit. Something to the effect of that Rachel was a slut and that to get her to leave the Castle Manor schools, forward this to everyone you know.
2 days later, Rachel hanged herself.
Okay, we want to show you guys this video because we want you guys to be aware that there is bullying going on out there, especially online bullying that was taken to the real world aspect of it. So, and there are serious repercussions of bullying online and in person. So we just want you guys to be aware that there is serious issues with bullying and the consequences of it. So we'll tell you who we are and why we're here. So I'm Joe, this is Cassie, and that's Kristin. We're from Winona State. It's a top communication ethics class, networked to social media in a networked world. So we talk about ethics online. So we're here to talk to you guys about some ethics online, and we want you guys to be aware of some safe online practices that you can use in the future. So we're going to tell you guys what cyberbullying is, its consequences, what to do if you encounter it, what is appropriate posting, and to answer any questions that you might have throughout this period. So if you have any questions that you don't feel comfortable raising your hand and asking about, you can write them on your cards. Or if you feel like raising your hand and being outgoing, we have candy for you also.
Yeah, you get candy if you say stuff, so free candy. Alright, so before we get into our actual presentation, we just have a few questions for you. By raise of hands, how many of you use social media? All of you. Alright. What medias do you guys use specifically?
Instagram.
Instagram? Oh, I'm really sorry. That was an awful throw.
Snapchat.
Snapchat? Wow. Just did a lot better in the last class.
Some use Facebook.
Facebook?
Yeah.
Twitter? Any other social medias that you guys use?
Kick.
Kick.
What's kick?
What's Kick?
It's like texting.
Okay.
It's an Iowa thing, right? Like.
I found out about it here.
Kidding. I'm just kidding.
Anything else? Did you have one? Or were you going to say what? Ask? Oh, I'm sorry. What's ask?
You can like ask people questions like anonymously.
Is it kind of like a form spring? Is that?
Some people upload a bunch of videos to YouTube.
YouTube. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
At least I made it. All right, so wow. Those are all medias. Now, by raise of hands, how many of you know what cyberbullying is? All of you? Okay. How would you define it if you could?
Well, it's like when people say mean things over the internet.
Mean things over the internet. Does anyone have anything else to add? No? Okay. So now that we've heard what you think, we're going to go into what it is and what we can do about it.
Alright, so like the technical definition of cyberbullying is sending, threatening, intimidating, or harassing messages to someone over texting or social media, or making fun of somebody or humiliating them on purpose without their like permission. This can happen over Facebook and posts, Twitter, like tweets and comment sections in YouTube, or even comments on Instagram I've seen. It's a big deal because it can often be done anonymously, so it's hard to catch who's doing it. And the most common medium for cyberbullying is texting, like sending somebody like, I don't like you or whatever. But it also happens on Facebook and Twitter a lot too, so it's a big deal in our society today.
So some of the consequences of cyberbullying, you have the obvious ones that you saw in the video of depression, people hurting themselves and switching schools. In the Rachel MQ video, you saw that the goal of their bullying was to get her to switch schools. There are a lot of consequences and none of them are good, so just be aware that anything that you can say online can be taken negatively and it will hurt people. And know that it can always be found. Anything that you post online can always be found by law enforcement if they do decide to look for it and all that. People can also take screenshots of what is said online, and that can really get you in a lot of trouble also because it has your name right there, and it's hard to cover up what you were trying to say because if somebody takes a screenshot of what you say negatively to them, that can be a big issue. And another consequence is, for a lot of people here that you're not necessarily thinking about jobs right away, but you're thinking about your extracurriculars like your track, your baseball, your basketball, and all that can be taken away from you if you get caught saying negative things online to other people. Sports are a privilege, not a right, so we just want you guys to be aware that if you aren't representing yourself and your team, it can be taken away from you, no matter what forum you're on. You just try to respect others as best you can and represent yourself and your team the best way you can. So what to do? If you're being bullied or anything like that, tell a counselor, a trusted adult, or your friend. They want to help you. They really want you to be the best person you can be emotionally, physically, and all that. So they really just want you to be safe, no matter what. It might seem silly to you to tell them about it, but they want to help you. So make sure that you continually voice what you're trying to say, and they might not get it right away, but they do have a vested interest in you, so just make sure that you keep them in the loop on what is going on in your life, because they do care. And then know that it's not your fault if something happens to you. There are trolls that just try to get a rise out of people for whatever reason it is. They don't know you, they just want to hurt you. Don't listen to them because they're just trying to get a rise. It's nothing that actually has to do with who you are, it's just they have a problem and they want to inflict it on other people. And then just know that you need to be open and honest about the situations that you do encounter. You want to make sure that you always are honest about how bullying led to that situation. If you were aggravated or anything like that, just be honest about what happened and all that, because that is really how the situation gets resolved, is through honesty.
Alright, so more on what to do if you experience it yourself. First, try to record what you can. Joe mentioned earlier about taking screenshots. So if someone's sending you or someone you know threatening messages or messages that may have something mean to say, take a screenshot of it. That way you'll have proof of what is being said, and you can show someone later what is going on so they can help you. The next thing you can do is, this is just an example of Facebook, but you can remove them from your social medias. You can block them, you can delete them as a friend, or unfollow them. Do what you can to just stop them from what's happening and distancing yourself from that situation. And the last thing, you can just tell someone that you know and trust, whether it's a parent, a teacher, an older sibling, a friend who is just there for you. You have teachers and counselors that care about you and want to help you as if you do experience this. So just telling them and seeking help, because you're not alone when you go through this, or if you know someone who's going through this, be a friend to them, tell them that you're there for them, help them if they don't know what to do, because those little messages can turn into something a lot greater, like we saw in that video. She was just getting bullied so extremely that she ended her life, and that's not something we want to see as a Winona community. So what's appropriate? My thought is, if you wouldn't say it to your grandma, don't say it to someone else, whether it's in person or online through social media. Try to keep your posts positive and encouraging. I don't know, that's just one thing. The more negativity you put out on social media, the more negativity our world is going to become. And it all starts with being positive. And as a community, we need to work together. Even though we're college students and you're in middle school or junior high, we're still a community together because we all live within miles of each other. And it all starts there to make the world a better place. And it starts with being positive and putting an end to what we call cyberbullying. So something that we have started is something called #ProjectPositivity. So in a little bit, you will pull out your phones and we'll talk more about that when it comes. But if you're just posting something online, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, on Twitter, if you're posting something that's oh, today I get to do this and it's super exciting, #ProjectPositivity, just throw that at the end. Just that way people can see. Obviously, when you click it, you can see what other people have been posting that's positive, and just creating a better community through social media.
Alright, and here's some smart posting tips to live by. Make sure that you treat others the way you'd like to be treated. That goes for online too. Everybody knows the golden rule. And just like when you say something in person, when you post something on someone's wall or send them a text message, it can't be erased. They can take a screenshot. The words are still there, and you can apologize, but you're still hurting the person even if they forgave you. And also customize your privacy settings so you don't have your personal information leaked out to a predator or somebody you don't want your personal information leaked out to, just to make Facebook a safer place for everybody. Alright, and here's some examples of the good posts that we want to focus on. Cute puppies, that's posting positivity out into the world. Believe in yourself. These are the posts that people want to see. They don't want to see the negative stuff. This makes somebody's day. This makes everybody happier. We want to stay away from the "we're going to get you after school" and "you ugly cow." That's hurting people's feelings and just not what we want to focus on as our community. We want to raise people up so we can all do great things in life. Alright, here's just a little picture. You think before you post, only connect with your friends, be kind to others. Don't share your password, even if they're your best friend now. They're probably not going to be your best friend in 5 years. Keep your settings private and don't be hurtful towards others. I know I had a lot of best friends in junior high and high school. When you go to college, some of them kind of trickle away, and I've given out my password to people, so it's just safer to keep it to yourself. Alright, and how to step in. If you want to be a effective bystander, you want to be hey, that's not cool. Knock it off. Why are you doing this? You don't want to get in the way of the bully so they target you, but you want to let them know that it's not okay. You can also counteract the bullying. If they're saying negative things to you, you look ugly, be oh, I think you look really nice today, or I love your hair, or something, because if they're not getting the rise out of you, they're not going to keep targeting you because you're no fun anymore. They're going to go after somebody else. So just come back with positive arguments and stuff like that, and they'll leave you alone. And also just direct message the one being bullied, let them know that they have a friend in you, and if they need to go to a counselor, you can be there for support for them, and just that they have somebody to rely on, so.
Alright, so now some follow-up questions. By raise of hands, have you personally seen cyberbullying online? So, a little more than half of you. If you have seen it, did you do anything to stop it? Or did you just keep scrolling? Ignore it.
It's okay if you didn't, it can be hard to jump
We've all
in.
We've all just
We've all
passed by
just,
it.
yeah. Cause you don't wanna be targeted too. I feel like that's a, yeah.
Do you wish you would have stepped in, looking back? Or do you not really care? Yeah, you would have stepped in. Alright, so I guess this is more of just a question to get you thinking. You don't have to raise your hand or anything, but will you step up the next time that you see it, knowing that you can make a difference in someone's life, seeing where something could go too far, and if you could have done something to stop that, and just maybe make someone's day to show them that you care, even if you're, maybe just a friend online and not really like a close friend in person, but just being someone who cares can show a lot to that person who may be facing something.
Alright, and to conclude, we just want to tell you guys what we went over today. So we've told you about what cyberbullying is, its consequences, what to do if you encounter cyberbullying, what is appropriate posting, and we answered some of your questions today. The whole point of this is we just want to make sure that everybody is treated with respect in an online forum. We obviously saw what happened to Rachel, and it's a very tragic case. And we just want to make sure that nothing like that happens in our community here in Winona, because it is a very small, tight-knit community, and we want to make sure that nothing like that happens here.
Thanks for listening.
Do you guys have any questions at all?
Okay, couple things. Remember the world, think of the world as when you're a kid growing up, you know what a pitchback is? Who knows what a pitchback is? So it's a screen, and you throw something into the screen, and then it bounces back at you, right? Okay? So think of the world as a giant pitchback, okay? And whatever you throw at that screen, whether it's positive or negative, if you throw positive stuff out at that screen, that's what's going to come back to you. But if you are, if you're a whiner, or if you're, sort of belittling people, or you're mean or cruel, you throw that to that screen, that's what's coming back at you. Okay? So that's your choice. So you choose, you get to do this. So think of the world as that big giant pitchback. Okay? Now, here's what we're going to do. I want everybody to take out your phones if you have one, and it's okay with your parents. Okay? All right, so I don't know how all that works as far as data and all that. You pay for them, you don't pay for and all that. I don't understand that. Okay? And so what we're going to do is, what was that hashtag, what?
Hashtag Project Positivity.
Okay, so they're going to put it up there. We want, right now, we're going to ask you to do something with your parents. So if your parents are online, or if you can tweet them, or you can send them a text, or you can send them an Instagram or something, we're going to do a Project Positivity message, okay? And let your parents know that you just had somebody talk to us about cyberbullying, okay? And so can you do that right now? Does that make any sense? I would be more specific if I had a clue of what to tell you.
It doesn't have to
Okay.
be your.
Yeah.
You can post it on Facebook, just put a
Got
happy
it?
quote on Instagram, Project Positivity. You won't be the only one. Everybody at Winona State is doing it. Just project positivity out into your life, and that's what, like he said, it'll come back to you. It sounds really crazy, but
Yeah, it's a big it's a campaign started by our class for trying to improve our campus, because we've had a lot of issues with
cyberbullying
and apps on our campus that are being used inappropriately, and this is just our class's way of trying to combat that negativity that's being used with those apps. So.
And the wider it goes from Winona, whether it's like in the school districts around us, like the more positive our community is going to be.
Yeah, so even if Jack just took a picture of that, so if you wanted to do that, can you do that? Like Instagram
put it on
that or whatever.
Snapchat or whatever.
Snapchat or whatever. Snapchat, okay. All right. Now make sure that you're doing that though. Okay, make sure you're not off on QQ. Does anybody know what QQ is?
No.
Okay, that's the Chinese version of Facebook.
Oh, okay.
I know. My math class are always on there. I'm the book picture, so.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank
Yeah,
you so
thank you,
much
guys.
for listening.